started, hit that record button. Awesome. Well, welcome everyone. It is Wednesday, the first Wednesday in April. Hard to believe that we have another new month here. So welcome to Webinar Wednesday with Can Do. My name is Michelle. Normally I'm joining from Amiskwaciwa, Edmonton, but I am here in Saskatchewan, Saskatoon, still in Treaty 6 territory. So welcome. I hope that wherever you're joining from or wherever you're watching from, I hope that it's a beautiful season in your life. We're in that season of spring, new beginnings. So just before we get started, I always like to take a moment just to ground ourselves, to remind ourselves that we're never alone in Creator's world. We're part of this beautiful journey of learning, of sharing story, listening to story, and growing, building our capacity. So we just want to give thanks for another day, another opportunity to learn together, and for all of the other gifts that Creator has given to us. There's so much goodness all around us wherever we go. So we say to Creator, hi, we give thanks. All right. Well, it's my honor to introduce our guest speaker today. Chelsea Gray is joining from Regina, Saskatchewan. I believe that's Treaty 4 territory. And so today's topic, she's going to give a presentation on Farm Credit Canada's high school internship program. So we're going to hear all about it and how they support students for success during their time with them and beyond. I think internships are a really amazing opportunity to learn and to grow and to build capacity. So I'm looking forward to hearing what they're doing, what they have to offer. So a little bit about our guest speaker today. Born and raised in Winnipeg, Manitoba, after obtaining a business degree at the Asper School of Business and graduating from the University of Manitoba with a double major in finance and marketing, Chelsea moved to Regina, Saskatchewan. She worked with General Mills Canada, Pheonix Advertising Group, and Farm Credit Canada. So she has multiple roles in FCC in marketing, IT, go girl, and strategy. Most recently, she manages relationships with her strategic partners at several smart farms in Canada. As well, she leads and has helped further the development of FCC's high school internship program, putting support and systems in place to remove barriers to success and provide experiential learning opportunities for students in an office environment. So really looking forward to what you have to share with us this afternoon, Chelsea. We thank you so much for lending your time to be with us and to educate us about this beautiful internship program. So I'm handing the reins over to you, and the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you very much, Michelle. My name is Chelsea. I'm very excited to be here. Any opportunity I have to talk about the internship program that we have here at FCC is an opportunity I'll take anytime. So my role as Special Project Manager of Strategic Partnerships here at FCC involves me managing relationships with a variety of smart farms in Canada, as well as having the great privilege of leading our intern program here at FCC. And so how did this program come to be? My leader, Fred Wall, VP of Marketing and Digital Ag, he's been at a lot of sessions in the industry, constantly hearing people talking about, particularly the ag industry, of how hard it is to find talent and all the talent shortages and how are we going to fix this and what we need to do something. And lots of people just kind of turning and talking about the same thing over and over. And so fairly accurate quote from him is, if I have to sit through one more workshop or conference talking about talent gaps and shortages, I'm going to stick a fork in my eye. And so what did he do? He decided to do something about it. And so he created this relationship with an inner city school here in Regina called Scott Collegiate. And that's kind of how it began. It was like, you know what? I'm kind of tired of hearing we need to do something, we need to do something, let's just try something. And so he did. And so you might wonder, why is it a high school program? And I think the purpose really is to set high school students up for success, and ease their transition from high school into the workforce. And how we live into that is by providing a variety of job opportunities and essential tools, and knowledge and experience in an office environment. And so, why do we work with inner city youth? I like this quote: what is easiest to see is often overlooked. You don't often hear people saying, I'm going to go look for talent in the inner city. And why not? There is some really, really great talent, like anywhere else in the inner city. And so, what we find with inner city students is they often face more barriers and challenges than other students. And so, really, a lot of the times we feel they just need some extra encouragement and support to help them see that potential. And then we like to really help nurture that talent. And so, what we do is, with these students, we identify and remove what we feel would be maybe barriers to their success. So, things that could be barriers for their success would be a proper office environment, wardrobe, or transportation, potentially lack of confidence, those kinds of things. So I see it as a bit of a framework that we operate with kind of three key pillars here. So we ease their transition from high school into the workplace under these three pillars of providing knowledge, resources, and support. And so some examples of knowledge is we work with the school and set up time during class time and go into the school. A variety of different people from our organization volunteer their time, and we do the first thing we start with is a competency presentation. So we're a competency-based organization. We kind of help talk about what are those competencies that people have, and how do you kind of decode what a job ad is actually looking for. When they say they're looking for something, what do they mean? And we also have someone come in and do prep sessions on how to do a good cover letter and how to develop a resume. And then we sit with them and we help them write out the resume and cover letter, and give them some support to do that. And then we also do interview prep sessions. So, we kind of go through the steps and then we say, here's how you interview, here's what not to do, here's what you should do, here are things, some key tips and tricks on showing up well for an interview. And all this takes place before we actually have them submit their job applications to us, as well as before they interview. The resources bucket is where we help provide things like, the kids that are hired for our program, I go with one of the teachers we take them shopping and we give them an allotment, a little budget, and we buy them some work appropriate clothing. So some people want to get shoes and, dresses or dress tops. And so we provide them with clothing that they can feel comfortable and confident in wearing in office. We give them a Tim's card so that, when their team wants to go for across the street for a coffee to Tim Hortons, they feel like they have the money to buy a coffee. And then we provide every student that's hired with a bus pass so that there's no issue of the incredible expense of, parking. Parking's hard to find. It's very expensive in downtown Regina. Often there might be, oh, I couldn't get a ride or my ride didn't show up. This way they have a bus pass and they know that that's the expectation, is that they bus to and from work. And that way we can always expect that they're here. And then in the support pillar, we provide them mentors. So regardless of where they're placed in the organization, they will have someone on their team who is kind of their go-to and kind of incorporates them into the team and the floor and the division. And then we pair them with someone else completely different on a completely different team in the organization who, takes them for coffee once a week or goes for lunch, or, someone they can practice a presentation with or give them advice. Just another person. Again, what we're trying to do is, a lot of students, and I think coming out of the pandemic too, a lot of high school students have a lot of anxiety and the lack of confidence. And so we want to give them opportunities to meet new people in a really safe environment. And so we provide them with those mentors so that they can also learn other areas of the organization that might be of interest to them. Something else that I think is really important is building connections with the students. And so one key aspect for me as program lead has been building connections and being a familiar face with the students. So because I lead the program and I coordinate a lot of the things over the 8 weeks during the summer while they're here, I want them to have a familiar face. And so I saw a guest speaker named Sherry Hewson. She presented a couple of years ago to the marketing division, and she talked about some of the work that she did in trying to really build a sense of community on reserve. And so she worked on a reserve and lived on reserve for the duration of her project, which was several years. And she did a lot of really fascinating things building community on reserve. And she said something that really resonated with me. And she said, "You want to be as close as you can to the people you're trying to help." And I thought, okay, that's really interesting. How could I be closer to the students? And so I pitched the idea to my leader and the administration at the school, asking if they had a spare office that I could use so that I could work 1 day a week out of the school after the winter break, as we started ramping up our sessions and doing our recruitment pitch and helping with their preparations to apply, so that I could get to know the students, be there 1 day a week so that they knew which day I was there, if they had questions about different jobs they were applying for or needed extra help with their resume, that there was a familiar face who they would also see in the summer over the time of the program. So that was approved, and I have keys to an office in Scott that I've had for the last 2 years. And it's been really great. It also really helped strengthen my relationship with the Scott staff that I work with, the teachers and the principals there, because I would eat lunch with them every Wednesday that I was there, and I would get to meet the students that were applying. And so, really cool opportunity, and just love that aspect of my role. So over the 8 weeks of the program, we really do provide a variety of different experiences for them. So we do things like have guest speakers, whether that's virtual or in person. Sometimes that's internal people to FCC. Sometimes it's externals who a lot of them just provide kind of what their career path was like, and it's okay to fail, and here's what happened to me, and here's what I learned, and your path doesn't need to be linear. So often the messages are really similar, but we expose them to a variety of different people who are often more than willing to connect with the students anytime after they speak. We also provide I call them field trips, but we take them on experiences. As an agriculture organization, we want to expose them to a little bit of the ag industry. And so we've taken them to an equipment dealership, Young's Equipment. We have taken them to a farm. Usually every year we take them to a farm. So one of our former employees, he's retired now, still lets us bring the kids out for the afternoon, and he tours them around their farm, and they get to see the different equipment and sit in it. And, it's always really interesting to them. We've gone to Loblaw's distribution warehouse. I think there's been a distillery, a powwow. So we really try and just expose them to some different opportunities and take them places. And then we also offer some training. So we have internal training programs. So there's a variety of things they can access. I usually kind of curate a bit of a training program for them so that they're learning Microsoft Office, suite of products, because that's what we use here at FCC. So how to be proficient in PowerPoint, Excel, Word, Outlook, OneNote, Teams, all the part of all the applications within that suite, because that's what they're going to be using over the summer while they work with us. And then as well, we provide them with some ag knowledge. So we partnered with Olds College, who helped develop an intro to ag course geared towards, high school and university students. And so they go through, it's several hours, and they can chip away at it throughout the summer, but they sign into the platform through Olds College. They get a login, and then they can go through this ag course, and they earn 4 micro credentials. And then we have networking opportunities. So we also partner with an Indigenous technology internship program out of BC. The leader of that program is Nuzio Ruffalo, and him and I have worked together, and we get our students virtually connecting, doing little breakout sessions, and just meeting other students of their age. And it's really neat. It was one of their favorite experiences, and some of them still keep in touch with those students virtually that they've met over the summer. And so really what we're trying to do here is essentially we're trying to teach them how to fish. So equipping them with the training, multiple experiences, and things that they can take, skills they can take with them, whether that's them staying at FCC for their career or whether they go anywhere else, any other job opportunity they have. We want to help equip them with those skills. And again, easing them that transition into the workforce. So, what can we do to help set them up for success? So, a little bit about the history. Um, we the first intern program we had was in 2020. It was remote. We worked with Scott Collegiate here in Regina, and we had 4 students, and it was successful. And so we built upon what worked really well. And then in 2021, we worked with that same school, Scott Collegiate, and we doubled our number of students to 8. And then in 2022, that was when I was brought on. And because I was dedicated to this program, we decided to expand into Saskatoon and we tried working with Mount Royal. It was a great experience, and we had 2 inner-city schools in the program that summer and 15 students between the 2 cities. It was an awesome experience, and some things shifted with my role. And so last summer, I had more than one focus area, and so really had to keep it back to focusing just on Regina, but super successful and great partnership with Mount Royal. So in 2023, we went back to just working with Scott, and we had 12 students with us, and we are approved for 12 more students this summer. And so some of the desired outcomes of the program are really kind of these 4 things. So, virtuous cycles, really wanting to create virtuous cycles with these kids. So, instead of, what that looks like is, we'll interview kids for the program last summer, and some of them would say, I wasn't going to apply, but then I talked to my friend who did it last year and they said it was awesome. So it gave me the courage to apply. So that's what I consider a virtuous cycle is. And then maybe that student tells their sibling and their sibling applies, and then their sibling is doing the program, just word of mouth, talking about how great their experiences was and sharing that, and getting more kids to apply. Increase confidence. The one thing, I can say is after the 8 weeks from day 1 to day 60, it is unbelievable the confidence level, how it increases over the summer. And I think that's just being in a really warm, supportive environment, and connecting them with other people in the organization. Everybody here loves what we're doing with the program. They're all very supportive. Like I mentioned, we have mentors from all over the company. Our new CEO, Justine, met with the students last summer in person when she was in town, and it was great. They got to ask her questions. So, people are very supportive of the program, and it's a really warm, welcoming environment here. And so the confidence in these kids it's really incredible to see the growth over the summer. And another thing is that possibility mindset. If anything, I want these kids to understand the potential that they have. And I think that's one of the things we try and do is really support and encourage these kids and show them the potential that we see in them. And then that helps them say, yeah, you know what? I can do that. And that'll give them the courage to apply for that next job that they see that they're interested in. So really wanting them to have that possibility mindset for themselves. And then, inevitably we have a new talent pipeline. So, there are students that really love their experience. Now, there's some that say, this was a great experience and I've learned that an office environment isn't for me. Great. They've learned something and now they know they're even more clear on what they do or don't want to do. But we do have several students. So these are 4 students that we have currently on our staff as casual employees, all attending post-secondary. And so from left to right, from Kahela to Star, these students, Kahela Morris, Alvina Netaweasen, Bohar Hussein, and Star Madsen, they have all been through our program. And actually, Kahela was 2020, Alvina was in our 2021 cohort. Bohar was in 2022 and Star was in our 2023. And so they all still are employed with us casually. And anytime we have opportunities, projects, things that students can work on while they're attending post-secondary, we do try and keep students on that have the interest and the availability. So it's really cool. I think some of these students will continue their career beyond their graduation from post-secondary. So what does post-program support look like? It's not fully baked, but there's like I mentioned, there are casual work opportunities that we really try to have available for students after they graduate. We do keep in touch. There's students I've had from a couple of years ago that I still, still will text me and we'll meet for coffee. I think um, it's not a requirement, but a lot of the people who have volunteered their time to be mentors over the past summers, I do believe still keep in touch with their students and get together wherever possible. And then post-secondary support. So, while we're finishing the summer, towards the end of the summer, there's been several students we've taken to FNU or U of R to meet with guidance counselors so that they can get support or help with their band funding, or talk to a guidance counselor about what they need. If some of them need a few extra credits once they're done graduating before they can apply, but just whether that's driving them there, setting them up at some appointments, really trying to help support the students wherever we can while they're still with us. And then I just wanted to share a few of our program outcomes. So last year we hired a external research company. We do have an internal one here at FCC, but we hired an external research company to they interviewed every hiring leader and every intern, just to kind of understand like what's working really well and what needs improvement. And so the results were really, really positive, and these percentages are the number of students who rated 8 or higher out of 10. And so 100% said they would participate again, that they would recommend the program to friends, that they gain new knowledge and skills. 93% said that they expanded their network. 86% said they gained confidence throughout the program, and 86 said that they would be interested in a career at FCC. So it's really great to see. And then some of these, I won't read them all. I'll let you read them, but so these are just a couple of the quotes that were captured from the interns. And again, one I really love is I thought I was going to flip burgers. My manager showed me I could do something else. For me, that really speaks to wanting these kids to see that possibility mindset. Is this kid thought maybe all I could do is flip burgers at a burger joint. And now, because of their experience, they now have that confidence that there's so much more out there for them that they can do. And I think it's, that's kind of that huge impact that I feel being involved in this is just helping kids see their own potential. And then again, some of the hiring leaders had some interesting things to say. And then speaking to that increase in confidence from day 1 to day 60, the intern went from being inside a bubble to being super outgoing. And it was like watching a butterfly emerge. So I love that quote because, again, it just really shows that they gain confidence and they're more comfortable talking to others and sharing their ideas. And so, yeah, that's kind of the evolution of the program and what we try and do to support the students throughout their time with us. And I am very open to questions if anybody has any questions.
What a great program. I think it's just such an excellent opportunity for these young people. I think I wrote down one thing I really liked is that you said the possibility mindset, and just kind of instilling that in young people is so important. And I loved that. I loved the whole thing. So that was one
Yeah.
of the pieces that stood out to me. Ken in the chat box, let's see what Ken has to say. Yeah, excellent way of broadening students' horizons for lifelong learning. I assume that creating a business plan is part of their experience.
So it's not necessarily, however, we did have a student last year who worked on our risk division. And he wanted office environment experience, but he knew that what he wanted to do was to open a barber shop. And so as part of his summer project, his leader weaved in helping him build a business plan, and then we had him present it to some people in the industry that we know, some colleagues, or sorry, some friends of my leader. He had his kids had salons, so like he provided advice, and so we had him present it to different people in the organization. We gave him advice and he made some improvements. And so, yeah, it's not necessarily a requirement, but if someone is wanting to learn how to write a business plan, there are people here that will help them write a business plan. So absolutely an option.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I also loved when you were talking about how former participants would encourage other people to, hey, this is a really great program. It really helped me. So I think that that in itself is such a great testimony of the work that you're doing, the program, and what it has to offer when the young people are saying, hey, y'all need to take this program. I just think that that's really important.
Yeah, thanks. I agree. And I think that it is important to hear that from students that they can relate to. So we do go and we bring the leaders to the school and we pitch, we do a recruitment pitch where we say, here's the leaders that are hiring, here's what you would be doing on their team so that they know where they want to apply. But then we have, so Kahela has done it for 2 years where she comes with us because she's a former Scott graduate. She was the first in the program. And then she speaks to the students after we do our pitch and says like, this was my experience, this is what I loved about it, this is why you should apply. Because we can stand there and talk about how great it is all we want, but it really resonates for them when they hear it from their peers.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, our young people they carry so much good energy and so much good ideas, and to have a
Yes.
program like this to help shape and help to push whatever they have in their minds and in their hearts, push that forward. So I just applaud this internship and how you're just trying to be hands-on with our young people. And I think mentorship is so vital and so important. So this is really hopeful. So thank you.
Well,
Yes.
thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, we encourage you. We cheer you on. Keep doing what you're doing. I think this work is like so important. So thank you for being here.
Oh,
I
my
feel
pleasure.
like there's some like light in my world today, just hearing about what you're doing in Regina, Saskatchewan. So thank you for being here, Chelsea. And Ken, thank you, of course, always for your presence and your questions that you always have to bring. And so we will see you next time, folks. Have a great Wednesday.
Thank you.